Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. We are doing quadratic equations, right? So let's do graphs of quadratic equations and see what kind of graphs we get in case of quadratic equations and how we are going to deal with these graphs. So let's do some simple things regarding these graphs. Okay, since it's a quadratic equation and we know that it's a second degree equation, right? So the graphs of a quadratic equation are either going to be like a parabola like this, or it can be like this, okay, parabola. So let's see, what do we have in this graph? So this thing is our y-axis, this is our x-axis. Okay, these are the 2 points where the graph cuts the x-axis, right? And obviously it's a quadratic equation and it's going to cut the graph at 2 points. So these are our x-intercept, x-intercept. Okay. The graph, it's in the form of a parabola, so it cuts y-axis at 1 point, this point, okay? So this is y-intercept. Okay. Now, if we see the tip of this curve here, this is, the tip is downwards, right? So this is this point here is the minimum point. Minimum value of the graph, which you can have is, this is the minimum. And this dotted line, which cuts the graph into 2 equal parts. It's like when you fold this graph, both the sides are going to be equal, right? So this is line of symmetry. I suppose I'll spell it right. Is it double M or let me check. So it is double M. I missed it. So line of symmetry, right? The same is the case here. These 2 points are the x-intercepts. This point is the y-intercept, and this dotted line is line of symmetry. But the tip of this curve here, since the curve is upward, so this is the maximum point. The maximum value this curve is going to give us is this, okay? So this was all about the graph, like what are we going to get from these graphs. So let's do a couple of examples and try to figure out how the things are going on. Okay, so we have a curve. So we have a curve, parabola, and the equation for the parabola is y is equal to 2x squared minus x minus 6. Okay, and it cuts the x-axis at 2 points, A and B, and it cuts the y-axis at C. So we have to find values for A, B, and C. Okay, the 2 points, this A and B, these are the points on the x-axis where the parabola cuts the x-axis, and these 2 points on exactly on the x-axis. When the point is on the x-axis, so what is the possible value of the y? When the point is on the x-axis, the coordinates for this here, y is 0. So you see, this is origin, and at origin both x and y are 0. As you move left of the origin, the x is negative. When you move right of the origin, x is positive. So at A and B, we are going to have some value for x, but since we are on the line, the value for y is going to remain 0. So when we want to find the values for A and B, what are we going to do? This y is 0. So what are we going to do? 0 is equal to 2x square minus x minus 6. Okay? Or we can write it like this: 2x square minus x minus 6 is equal to 0. So we are more familiar if we write it like this. Okay, so let's find the values for the variable. So here 2 into minus 6, minus 12. By multiplying we need minus 12, and by adding we need minus 1. So if I say 2x square minus 4x plus 3x minus 6 is equal to 0. So if I multiply minus 4 and 3, I get minus 12. I add them, I get minus 1. So 2x is a common, x minus 4 plus 3 is a common, x minus 2 is equal to 0. So x minus 2 and 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So when x minus 2 is equal to 0, we have x is equal to 2, and when 2x plus 3 is equal to 0, we have x is equal to minus 3 over 2, which is approximately, or we can exactly say, minus 1.5, right? So at this point, what we can have here is minus 1.5 and 0, y is 0, x is minus 1.5, or you can say minus 3 over 2, 0, whatever way you want to write, and then 2 and 0. Okay? So it is obvious, this is the positive side, this is the negative side. Okay. Now we have to find C. So C is the point which is on the y-axis. When the point is on the y-axis, we are moving, here it was origin, we are moving along the y-axis. Okay. The value of x is not changing. On the origin, x was 0. So we are still on the y-axis and the value of x is not changing. So at this point, value of x is 0 and the y is changing. So we are coming downwards, value of y is going to be negative, but x is 0. So let's find out what is C. So if x is 0, y is equal to 2 into 0 minus 0 minus 6, so y is minus 6. You see, so we are coming downward from the origin, so y was supposed to be negative. So at this point, the coordinates are going to be 0 and minus 6. So you see, if the graph is already drawn, we have the curve. We want to find the 2 points where the x-axis graph cuts the x-axis and the graph cuts the y-axis. We can easily find, and we can have a better understanding of the graph also. So let's do one more example. Okay, we have a parabola and the curve is upside, so it will give us the maximum point, but here we are not interested in the maximum point. It's like a previous example, we have to find A, B, C, and we also have a point D on the curve. We have to find these points. So for the A and B, we know that y is going to be 0, so 0 is equal to minus x square minus x plus 20, or we can write it like this, x square plus x minus 20 is equal to 0. So I have changed the sides and also changed the sign. Okay, and now let's find the value for the variables. Okay, we have applied the midterm method, and now we have x plus 5 into x minus 4 equals 0. When x plus 5 is equal to 0, we have x is equal to minus 5, and when x minus 4 is equal to 0, we have x is equal to 4. So this point is minus 5 and 0, and this point is 4 and 0. Okay, pretty easy, right? Now let's find the value of point C, and point C is basically the y-intercept, and for y-intercept we know that the x is 0, so y is equal to 0 minus 0 plus 20, so y is equal to 20. So here what we are going to have is 0 and 20. Okay. Now to find the value for this point. Now what this point is saying, this is that this is the value for the x and this is the value for the y. Okay, and we have to find what is actually h. So what are we going to do? Y is equal to minus x square minus x plus 20. So instead of y, I'm going to write here h for x minus 3 x square minus 3 plus 20 is equal to minus 9 minus 3 plus 20, so it is 8. So the value for the h is 8. So we have our point. Okay. So I hope that you got the idea how to understand the graphs of the quadratic equation. It's in a form of a parabola, and if we study it a little, we'll have a better understanding of it, and we'll know that what these parabolas are giving us, right? So thank you, and hope you have understood it, and give me a feedback if you want to know more about these graphs. Thank you.